sideline. And you can start anytime.
Okay.
Okay. So we're going to do a little sideline right here. So just wanted to show some positioning from supine that we do. And I'm going to use this as something with your head. So I'm going to turn her onto her left side. So that's why I'm positioning the bolster there so she has something to turn onto. So use the leg as a lever. Easy sideline. Okay. And in us, in sideline, you know, I like to take a look before I start the work as far as how they're lined up. So if they're, you want them pretty much on their side and in some sense of alignment, excuse me, because it just takes the pressure better. You know, they'll receive the pressure better. You'll be able to mobilize them a little bit more uniformly if you start with some alignment. And you know, you're looking in some of the guidelines they use, like in structural massages, that if you look at the ear matching up with the shoulder, with the hip, with this knee, and then that knee with that ankle. So it's just some nice line. So cool. Everything good. So we'll start. So we'll do this in segments. Y'all sit. It's okay. So we're going to start here at the head. So this is a nice way of just loosening up the shoulder. So that's one of the things about sideline, is that it gives you some more opportunity to look at the shoulder girdle and the upper trap as far as applying some techniques for loosening. So here's a nice stretch, just using body weight, so light stabilization on the side of the head, and then the palm of my hand over the head of the humerus, and I'm just leaning through. Stretch, okay. Easy. Also gives you some nice opportunity to just work up into the upper trap here, and back if you want to go just below the spine of the scapula, and right above you can do the supraspinatus, which has a strong attachment to the head of the humerus, so gives you a nice position to work these muscles and do sustained pressure. Again, just using body weight. You might even use forearm. It's gives you a nice position to lean into. And then next, I'm going to support their body with my leg, and then put my foot above the head so I'm in a position to apply a little palmar compression into the side of the head. So, and again, because it's in a supported position, you're allowed to do some nice compression into the temporal muscle here that lies right in this fossa on the side of the head. And along with, when tight, creating pressure in the sutures in the bones of the head, it also affects the temporomandibular joint here, the TMJ joint here, because of its tendon that comes down and attaches to the top of the ramus here. So this is a good muscle to loosen to help open up this area here. So nice palmar compression. And then we're going to come and work up underneath the occipital ridge here to help loosen the neck. So I'm going to come in this position here so I have nice control of the arm. So I usually find that if I position myself somewhere where my knees are relatively even with their shoulders, it gives me good position to work the shoulder girdle. So shoulder girdle tightness comes from all sorts of different areas. So the one that we're going to look at right now is how the upper trapezius attaches here to, and when it rises, when it tightens, it brings the shoulder up. So we're going to do some counter stretches just by leaning back with our body weight. and then we're going to do some range of motion of the shoulders. So where my hands were here, I'm separating them so I have control in the front and the back of the scapula, and I'm just going to do some nice range of motion here. Scapula, shoulder girdle, one way and then the other. And like before, when we were working in prone and we work in the attachments here along the vertebral border of the scapula, we have another opportunity to get in here and create a little space. So one way that we can do that is allowing the shoulder girdle to fall forward, and this exposes this vertebral border here a little bit more. And I'll take my fingers and place them up underneath there, and then let her come back on them, and I'm just going to lean back. So it helps bring the scapula up off the rib cage, where it has a tendency to get glued a lot. It's okay? Okay, cool. So here, another, and this will be the last one in this segment, that's nice to work is the teres muscle here. So teres is right above the axillary fold, above the crease of the armpit, and below the acromion shelf. So all in here are the teres, and this muscle really affects the range of motion of the shoulder girdle. And it, sometimes when tight, because of its compression in the nerves, it presents some pain down on the lateral side of the arm, very deep, almost feels like bone pain. But in this place, you can come and just go in with your finger or thumb. I like to come in like this. That's okay, because it's very direct here, and with the arm in this position, the teres presents more of a surface to connect with because of the way it attaches to the humerus. So when you open the arm up, it can go right into that, down onto the teres. The only thing you have to be careful about is the recoil of the elbow. I'll smack you. Okay, and then we're going to end with stretch. So after this, the other thing that presents imbalance in the shoulder is tightness in the front of the chest for pec major and minor. So this is a nice stretch for pec minor. So the arm is straight up, and then just present it overhead a little bit, and then back. Very direct stretch to pec minor. And the reason it is because of the angle. If you're like this and go back, you're not stretching pec minor. You're barely stretching pec major. But if you go overhead and it picks up the angle of attachment from the muscles onto the humerus, then you go back and you're stretching